Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also The Brink, and we're going to get our daily fix of game news. This is what you missed in gaming news, and we'll do Steam Deck news some days when we have enough news to do that on. But if you came for that, wait until the end, because I will cover some Steam Deck news, and I will also be covering Elden Ring news, Switch Pro news, and just everything in between. This one's gonna be a little bit chunkier of a news segment because I missed a lot, and this is my first one of this type in a while. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, bash the bell with your crowbar, and with that, let's go into it. Switch 2. It's what we all want, at least if you're a Switch fan. It's what was, rumored to come out last year potentially, Switch Pro, but we got the Switch OLED, right? And so, with the news on Twitter, there's a leak from NW Player 123, and they say NVIDIA leaks have NVN2, which seems to be the graphics API for the Switch Pro, based on Ampere with ray tracing support and DLSS 2.2. With that, it's assumed, it's Switch Pro or Switch 2, and I mean, we've had pretty good rumors and I don't know if they've had an announcement yet, but like there is going to be a Switch Pro for the most part. At least that's what they, whatever. The original Switch is really old. It's even the tech, like when it came out 5 years plus ago, its hardware is still kind of dated. Like it's, I believe, based off the Shield from NVIDIA. So it's fairly old tech, and it's amazing that it runs so well. And you know who capitalized on this so much last year? Valve did. They came out with the Steam Deck, or at least announced it, right? Around probably towards the end of like the fervorous news of a Switch Pro coming out, and then we get an OLED version announced, and then Steam Deck's like, you know what? Here you go. This is going to be what you want. This is the new Steam Deck or new Switch. And so, I mean, they really capitalized on that, in my opinion. I don't think every Switch user is going to switch over to it. I really don't. I think this is going to be, it's not going to kill the Switch, but it definitely will light a fire, which will be good for Switch users, I believe. So if you play games on the Switch and you've been wanting a new console, this is good for you. The Steam Deck is, because hopefully it awakens Nintendo to say, hey, there's competition. We need to do something about this and release some new hardware. And I think that's good. Competition is always a good thing. I don't want to see like Steam Deck being by itself. I want it to have competition. So moving on, companies are removing their support for services and games from Russia in support of Ukraine. And one of them is CD Projekt Red. And there's a bunch of other AAA companies and all that. They're removing their services, their games. If you really wanted the help, Valve would disable servers for Counter-Strike and Counter-Strike Go in Russia. That is, I mean, they play a bunch of other games, but that is a pretty big staple of Russia. So that would be a little bit of a hint if you want to help that way, Valve. John Romero makes his first new Doom 2 level in 28 years to raise money for Ukraine. This is awesome because John Romero he's like the father of first-person shooters. He's the one that created some tricks to make it so back then we could have a first-person shooter aspect ratio, perspective. He is very much a genius when it comes to that type of thing, and just seeing him dive back into some of his old work just to release something to make money is so cool. I like seeing the creative side of earning money for humanitarian aid. And you know what? You can also do the same thing. If you want to help Ukraine, you can donate to humanitarian aid, and all you have to do is type it into Google. It shows up pretty quick, and help them. Okay. Leaker suggests fans will be waiting long time for more Grand Theft Auto 6 news. That's not news, because that's always a persistent thing with with that type of game. But you know what? There's good news. GTA 5 is getting a release date, and that's news, right? Like GTA 5 is finally coming out. It's just amazing. I can't believe it took this long. That game's been in, how long has that game been in development? -5 years. Oh, wait a second. It came out what, 4-5 years ago? Yeah, so it's coming out for the next gen consoles. PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X will be getting GTA 5 this month. So if you're watching this March 2022, it's coming out this month, which is, it's cool that they update it. I just wish they wouldn't charge full price. So if I'm wrong on that, I believe they're charging full price. Let me know in the comments below if I'm wrong on that. But that's what Bethesda does. That's what all these companies do. I feel like when they come out with a remake, or not even remake, just a new release, and because it's been scaled up on the PC, like they don't have to do much. They just have to make sure it scales up on the next system. And I don't think they need to do really much to make that release. It's so much money made by them. It's just kind of frustrating. But you know what? This game, GTA 5, is also coming to Steam Deck because it's always been available on Steam. And I believe it's verified, so you can play it on Steam Deck now if you have a Steam Deck, you lucky bugger. Okay, Epic Games buys Bandcamp, says fair and open platforms are critical. That is very interesting that they went that route. I wonder what they're going to do with Bandcamp because it is a music platform like Spotify. Now, they do share a mission, I believe. Epic Games charges 10% for a cut from people that sell on their platform. And then Bandcamp also charges around 10% for musicians and artists that charge on their platform, or, you know, that sell on their platform. That is the biggest similarities. I don't know. Maybe they'll include some of the music. Maybe they'll get music rights to play in their games. I don't know the full point of this, but it is interesting. Nonetheless, we'll see where that goes. Elden Ring reviews. They're out. The game is doing really well. It's got an amazing, it is a really fun game, and it's from the makers of Dark Souls, From Software. It is pretty fantastic, actually. I'm not even the biggest Dark Souls fan, and I actually quite like this game. It is difficult once you get further into it, but you know what? It is what it is. And also, if you didn't know, it's in collaboration with a novelist, George R.R. Martin. So there's that. If you like his stuff, maybe you like the story in this. If you don't like Dark Souls in the past, it's definitely a much more evolved and polished Dark Souls, in my opinion. I couldn't decide on the character, to be honest. I wasn't. It's cool that they gave you so many options, but it really just didn't feel like I didn't really know which one to choose, so I chose the samurai. I'm sure half the people did. So let me know in the comments below what you chose if you're playing Elden Ring. So Red Hot Chili Peppers, the 1999 song Californication, had a music video. Well, guess what? If you've ever thought like I wanted to be in that or play that as a video game, you now can. And I will have a downloads in the description, so make sure to go in there and you can download the game today. It's just essentially you running through the game as the music video. So you could be some shirtless dude wandering through the game, right? And that was such a weird movie, or music video, that is, that it's very enticing, and it plays like a PlayStation game. So I don't know if that was purposeful, and it might be a little buggy. Babylon Fall is not doing great. This is one of the games that I put on my flop of a video, 5 games you don't want to miss for March. I don't know why I put it on there. It just looked interesting enough. I figured Square Enix, and I couldn't, I just did that. There was a couple of things I just didn't want. I don't know. My top 3 on that list is what I love, and I just threw everything else on there that looked like it might be successful. Obviously wrong, and I will do better in the future on that. Square Enix actually did come out with 2 games this month, and this one was a flop. Big time flop. Now, to just put it in numbers, 650 concurrent players on Steam on day 1. That is very low. For comparison, the game Marvel's Avengers saw about 28,000 on launch day, and Square Enix considered that a flop, which for a big company like Square Enix, yeah, I could see that being a flop, right? But 650 on day 1 for Babylon's Fall, to be honest, it just looks like a washed out mess. It has, you know, microtransactions and just everything. It just doesn't look good. But it looked like it could be one of those games that doesn't look good, but looks that could be interesting from a story standpoint. That's why I put it on the list, but obviously not. So I don't, if you're curious to see why it's such a flop, more than welcome to go buy it, but I definitely recommend staying away if you want a good game. There's other games that are better. Okay, now we're finally here. The Steam Deck news. the stuff you've been waiting for. It's really not anything too crazy, but it's the Steam Deck anti-glare screen is actually fairly playable in the bright sunlight. So that's good news. I've used anti-glare screens before. I've used, you know, in a bunch of different settings, and they always seem to just be dim in the outdoors for me. And so hearing that this anti-glare screen is doing its job, it's not, you know, it's keeping the glare off, but also not too dim, is a good sign that you can play your Steam Deck on the beach, which, you know, yes, please, thank you. So we're done. That's it. That's the news for today. Come back tomorrow. If I do it on the weekends, come back tomorrow. I will be doing this, so don't worry. This is gonna be a consistent thing. Let me know what I missed in the news-wise in the comments below. It's always hard to find everything news-related, especially when it's a daily show. I will be probably slimming this down to more like 5, just to keep this in a smaller time frame, so you can enjoy this without being 20 minutes long. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching and listening. Make sure to check out my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time. Later, guys. Later!